Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I'm your friendly neighborhood finance professor. And I got up this morning and I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about today on the Black Financial Channel. And I thought about Disney and the sadness of Mickey Mouse. Disney stock is interesting because Disney stock is kind of having a different experience from Disney, the company. And we're going to break that down today on the Black Financial Channel. And we're going to get started right now. Good morning to all my black investors that are out here. You don't have to be black to be here, but just know that we are here for the black community. We put black people first. We are hashtag B1. Hashtag B1 means that the black community comes first. Our wealth matters, our people matter, our families matter, and that's the way we do things here. And it ain't going to never change. We're not apologizing to anybody. I want to say good morning to everybody. Uric Thomas and Black Privilege and Norma Dorset. Put your hashtag B1 in the chat. If you agree with that philosophy, hashtag B1. Also, feel free to shout out your city or the name of your business or anything that you want to shout out. Just say something in the chat. Let me know that you're here. Make your voice heard. Also, please hit the thumbs up button. Also, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when we go live. I go live on the Black Financial Channel several times a day. And I'm always giving you guys updates on what I'm seeing in the stock market because I believe the stock market is an important part of the black wealth process. Now, Disney's interesting. I've always loved Disney, and I still do. I like Disney as a company. I like Disney as a long-term investment. In case you're wondering what my consensus is or what my final verdict is going to be on the company, I think Disney is an awesome long-term investment. I think even somebody who overpays for Disney stock right now, which I don't think you would be doing, but even if you did, I think time is going to make the difference. I think a person who holds Disney stock for a long period of time is going to be okay. And also, in fact, even if for those of you that are in the options investing program, you'll know about something called the stock replication strategy that we talked about in class, which allows you to actually own a piece of Disney without actually buying the stock. You can actually use the options instead. But that's neither here nor there. Let me get to talking about Mickey Mouse and Disney and what's going on with Disney stock right now. Disney is going through just chaos right now. Disney was hit the hardest during the pandemic. Disney was hit the hardest, and in a way, you can think about the broader economy like an ocean. You know, I'm sitting here right now on a boat as I'm talking to you, and the Wi-Fi here is terrible. That's why I'm doing mostly audio instead of video. But I'm sitting here, I'm looking at the water, and I see all these different boats. I see little boats. I see big, gigantic yachts. I see boats with motors. I see boats with sails. I see boats that go fast, boats that go slow. And all these boats are on the same water. So if you want to think about the way the economy works and the way risk works in the economy, think of the economy as the water and think of each stock as a different kind of boat. And every boat is not only different in terms of shapes and sizes, but they also have different captains. Some boats are going east, some are going west, some north, some south. And so when the waves come through or the bad weather comes through, different boats have a different reaction, right? Some boats, the big super tanker that's maybe headed in the same direction that the wind's blowing, may not have as much of a difficult time as like the tiny little dinghy that's trying to go against the wind, right? The tiny boat is going to flop further than the big boat. Or maybe a big boat with a bad captain is going to have a tougher time than a big boat with a good captain. Or maybe the boats that are the same size that are going in different directions are going to be hit in different ways. Why do I make that analogy? Well, because Disney's boat, which is a very big boat with some very good captains, happened to be going in the exact wrong direction when the storm came. When the economic storm came, they were just body slammed. They were body slammed because they were positioned in the wrong place in the water. They were positioned right in the eye of the storm. They were going in the wrong direction, and it literally just ripped their ship apart. Disney made most of their money by people leaving the house. Disney made most of their money from people getting up and going to the movies. Disney made most of their money from people getting up and going to Disneyland. Disney made most of their money from people going to live sporting events. All these things were hammered during the pandemic. So Disney, it took everything Disney had for Disney to survive all of this. Disney's a big company, so they have tremendous access to capital, and liquidity is the saving grace of this economy. That's one of the criticisms I would have of the Trump administration for how they issued the payroll protection plan, is that they tended to protect the payrolls of the companies that had the most capital to begin with, which was an absolute economic crime, if you ask me. A lot of small businesses suffered, a lot of black businesses suffered, but big corporations were able to get the money that they needed. But they've always been able to get the money, and that's why they're able to survive tough times. Now, with that being said, Disney was hit really hard. Disney has had to endure a lot of layoffs. Disney has had to pivot like crazy. So imagine a shipboat captain on a big giant super tanker, and the storm is coming. And he's a good captain though, so he knows what to do with the ship. But he's got to really turn hard starboard to get out of that storm and go full speed in the northern direction to get away from the storm. So Disney has made a hard turn starboard and gone as fast as it can go to get away from the storm by basically pivoting heavily toward Disney Plus. Disney Plus, their online streaming platform, has been their saving grace. Disney Plus, they accelerated growth of Disney Plus. They made Disney Plus their core part of their business plan, as opposed to being a tangential, long-term aspect of their plan. It is now an immediate, short-term, central part of their long-term business model. So Disney Plus has experienced tremendous growth. Disney Plus now has 74 million subscribers. I don't think that they expected to reach that number for probably another 2 or 3 years, but they did it early because COVID pretty much locked them in the house and gave them nothing to do. Now, with that said, though, the parks are still suffering. We've had a setback with COVID, so the parks are not going to open for a while. Sporting events, live sports, aren't going to open up for a while. There's a vaccine that's under development, but how long is it going to take to get the vaccine out? Nobody knows, right? And then once the vaccine's out there, what are you going to do? You're going to require everybody to show that they're vaccinated before they go to the park. Well, guess what? That means me and my kids won't be there because we don't plan to get a vaccine for any of that. It doesn't mean I'm saying that's what you need to do, but it does mean that we live in a country called America where we have freedom to choose. So Disney has a lot of uncertainty in its horizon and also a lot of severe economic problems. To just sort of summarize that for you, Disney made last year this time, Disney made a profit of $10.4 billion. Their profit was $10.4 billion. So they went from making a profit of $10.4 billion to this year making a loss of $2.8 billion. So they went from making $10.4 billion to losing $2.8 billion. That is a heck of a turnaround. That's a lot of money. So as a result, Disney just announced they're going to lay off 32,000 employees, which is 4,000 more than they originally planned. They're also cutting their dividend. They're cutting their retirement and pension contributions. They're cutting their film production. They have about 100,000 employees that work at their different parks. And that is interesting because that is both bad news and good news for the company. These moves are bad and good news for the company. What do I mean by that? Well, obviously, it's bad news if you had the misfortune of being a Disney employee. It's also drawn the ire of Senator Elizabeth Warren and even one of the Disney children. I forgot her name, but she's an activist and she actually hates the way Disney's run. I forgot her name, though. She's the granddaughter of Walt Disney's brother or something. And I can't remember her name. I want to. Her name's on the tip of my tongue, but her last name's Disney, of course. And so they're all basically saying, look, you're laying off all these people, you're cutting contributions to retirement plans, while at the same time, you are giving massive bonuses to executives and you're paying out all this money to shareholders and everything else. So what that really says is that if you are a Disney shareholder, you might actually benefit from these dramatic moves that Disney's making, right? If you own the stock, there's a good chance that these moves might actually improve the stock. What you see Disney doing is you see Disney basically adapting to a really unfortunate environment. And right now, in order to survive the crisis, they are trying to become a leaner, stronger company. That means that if you are a person who takes the time to buy some shares of Disney, you might actually see an increase in your share price because this company with this excellent management team is doing everything in their power to make the company sharp and lean and strong. It may not be as bulky as it was before, but it's going to be more efficient. And they're trying to get back to profitability as quickly as they can. So why am I telling you the story of Disney? One, because I think that it's a tale of two realities economically, right? You've got, and this is why I want every black person that's watching, give me a yes or no if you're an investor. If you are an investor, give me a yes or no if you've already started investing. If you haven't, I really hope that you'll consider this because the two realities are this: when companies become leaner and they're dealing with tough times, even if they're not corrupt or anything. I know we want to say that they're always corrupt, that they lay people off and all that. Sometimes they lay people off because they can't afford to pay anybody, right? Imagine you're running a business and you just don't have customers. Well, you got to let people go. Right. And that's not fair to the people who work for the company. It's very, very sad to watch. But a good way to kind of protect yourself from some of that is to also try to get on the other side of the game, which is to be a shareholder. Because in many cases, if the management team is good and they're laying off, they're cutting the fat and not cutting the muscle, then you're actually going to see an increase in the stock price, which will increase your wealth level if you are a long-term investor. So what I encourage you to do is to realize that there are two ways to kind of look at this issue. I'm not saying one is necessarily better than the other. If I had it my way, everybody would get to keep their job. I do think that corporate greed is a problem, but I also think that when you understand both sides of the equation, it gives you the ability to have enough balance to do an analysis that will allow you to do what's best for your family without picking a side prematurely and deciding that all corporations are always evil every single day of the week. Okay, guys. So anyway, I like Disney. I've owned Disney stock for a while. It's one of the stocks that I actually mentioned to the students that I recommended. I still stick by that recommendation because that was a long-term thing. So feel free to go take a look. Now, just a reminder, don't forget that we're starting the Black Wealth Bootcamp on January 7th. Hit the thumbs up button, share and subscribe button if you haven't done it yet. Subscribe, hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when we go live. We go live several times on the Black Financial Channel. Make sure you hit the notification bell on theblackfinancialchannel.com so that you'll get regular notifications on what's going on in the market and all this other stuff. And also, the Black Wealth Bootcamp starts January 7th. So this week for Black Friday, we're doing 72% off. We've never done 72% off ever for anything, and we won't do it again, maybe until next Black Friday or something like that. So if you want to jump in as an early bird, you can get started actually right away because we have the recording of the last bootcamp, which you have both now and forever. You are a lifetime member once you join. And then also, you get to do the live sessions on January 7th. All sessions are recorded. You can have all the slides. You can bring your whole family, and it's about, I think that the price drops from $499 to literally $139.72. So if you feel that this would be something that's beneficial to you, feel free to go take a look. We have 100%, 30-day, 100% money back guarantee, and everybody loves the boot camp. So anyway, I gotta go, guys. I'm out of here. I'm about to eat breakfast. Please hit the thumbs up button, share, and subscribe button if you haven't done it yet. And I will see you soon. And have a good day. Happy investing. I hope you make a ton of money today. And I love you. See you soon. Peace.